since the day we crawled out of the water. Some of us have been clawing our way back. Understandable, given the feeling. The beat of my heart labouring alongside every breath, giving way to the weightlessness of the world around me. Suspension, submersion, submission. A respect for life given, threat of life taken. Suffocation, disorientation. We dance, sometimes out of step, sometimes perfectly in sync, but always we dance. The surface brings the greeting of the sun, a warmth that emanates from your bones, an internal glow, tranquility born from adrenaline. If your heart's not pounding, then what's the point of it beating at all? I grew up in a town called Kirikiri, on the North Island of New Zealand. A town sculpted by bays in lieu of beaches. I came out kicking, and I never really stopped. At the age of 13, I was told I had a brain tumour. Bad news led to waiting, led to bad news, led to waiting. Then came the operation. The look of relief on my mother's face when I woke up in the ICU is something I'll never forget. But its depths can only truly be understood now that I have children of my own. Recovery was slow. I was itching to get back out on the water. I was given the green light and handed my first wakeboard. A hobby became an obsession. An obsession became an addiction. And I was insatiable. My dreams were consumed by my own untapped potential. I would practice my tricks, my stance, my timings, playing them all out as I drifted off to sleep. I got sponsored. I travelled internationally and got features in magazines. A child's dream surpassing just that of a childhood dream. Some people hated being in front of a crowd, but man, I loved it. I was invincible, a feeling rather than a fact. But of course, injury was inevitable. Severely rolled ankle, dislocated thumb, spinal disc bulge, ACL reconstruction, MCL tear right knee, chipped bone right knee. Then came the big one, a tibial plateau fracture. Injury came with severe nerve damage that had me in constant agony. I lost myself. I wasn't sleeping, and any sleep I did get was inhabited by nightmares. Trying to maintain a healthy mindset felt impossible. I was shackled to the shore, counting the sunrises and sunsets, and yet I felt like I was sinking, like I was drowning. Going from a sponsored athlete to a dad was a huge change. I couldn't risk getting injured and not being able to support the life we had built, the beautiful sons we were raising. I had to stay away from one love and give every piece of me to another, and I was glad to do so. But I never got to grieve the loss of wakeboarding. There was a constant internal yearning, an inconsolable ache, a deprivation of self. Disenfranchised grief, they call it. Everyone has a breaking point, and I had reached the precipice of mine. I remember screaming. I remember crying. I couldn't breathe. I needed to get back into the water. I needed to reset. I needed to move. And in motion, I found stillness. A stillness that brought tranquility rather than turmoil. I obtained direction for my restlessness. Now, I move with the ribs of the tide, rather than aimlessly fighting against it. I found patience between the waves. I was showing compassion. I and I learned to impart compassion in return. You never know who's drowning, hands raised, gasping on the surface. A simple question could mean salvation. Are you okay? Teach your kids to love, to be generous with their feelings. It doesn't foster weakness, it strengthens their humanity. I don't know who I'd be if I never found my bond with the water, but I know that bond allows me to be the best version of myself.